fascinating. Sean Payton's second season with Bo Nix, and who else have they brought in? If they bring in and they've got the defensive player of the year, reigning defensive player of the year, and Patrick Surtain, and if they add somebody big, if they add a big piece free agent, they might be the ones that they throw out there on opening night as an interesting, hey, Denver, in the same way that we knighted the Lions a couple years ago, and everyone's thinking, really? Are you going to go ahead and put the Lions out there in Kansas City on an opening night?
Right.
The league was like, yep. And you know what the Lions did? Lions type stuff with Dan Campbell, which is why I think that's who they're sending to.
Oh, you do?
Philadelphia to open the season. Oh, yeah, man.
But that's another opening night. That's, 2 out of 3 years for them.
Well, I understand that, and the Lions might be like kind of what gives, or they'll be just like, let's, anytime, anywhere. That's what we're all about. Yeah. And the whole country will be tuning in to see what a lot of people thought was going to be the NFC Championship game this year. And the Lions are eager to serve notice that, yes, the Eagles did win it out of our conference, but it's still us that's the team to beat, and nobody believes in us. We lost both our coordinators, just like Philadelphia did a couple of years ago. We're not going to fall in the same pitfall. I kind of dig that as an opening night game. And then you have to see who else is coming out of the NFC North as a possibility to knock off the Eagles. I'm talking about within their own conference here. They're division rivals. With all due respect to Dallas, I need to see how they're going to be reconstituted for Brian Schottenheimer before I start putting them above the Commanders within their own division. As certainly an opportunity to knock off the Eagles the way that they are playing football. Because I do proffer later on in this Overreaction Monday on a Tuesday, you will ask me in an Overreaction Monday on a Tuesday subject matter is fill in the blank from the AFC, not name the Chiefs, would have given the Eagles a better game in the Super Bowl. And we'll discuss that later on. But I'm just talking about, within the conference right now, I'm going to give you a team that's on this mix. I don't think they're going to put them there to start the season. I don't think so. But it's something to keep an eye on. Which team, and this is for this upcoming season, because it's never too early,
it's never too early.
What now? Which team came closest to beating the Philadelphia Eagles in the playoffs in retrospect of their evisceration of the Chiefs, 50-burgering of the Commanders, and wiping out of the Packers in the opening round of this playoffs? It was the Los Angeles Rams.
And you could say the elements got to the Rams. Think about the Kyron Williams fumble and the Stafford, literally the ball just popped out of his hands because of the cold, the wet, the snow.
And despite all that, after Saquon ran yet another home run ball in on them in the end zone, down 2 scores, they still had an opportunity on the cusp of the red zone in a snowstorm. The Los Angeles Rams had a shot on 3rd down to win this game down by 6.
Yeah, ball in the air.
And Jalen Carter blew up the final 2 plays. And then after Jalen Carter handled the Rams, Jalen Hurts handled the Commanders and the Chiefs. And the 2 Jalens with Saquon and that defense took care of everybody else. But which team came closest to the Eagles in the playoffs? It was the Los Angeles Rams. And I understand some folks are wondering, why give up Cooper Kupp? That one I can't answer. And it's interesting, I'm seeing a Matthew Stafford commercial on one of our competitors right now as I bring this up. That one I think is a no-brainer. That one is just going to get handled. Because why in the world would you not run it back with him? I'd be shocked if whatever contractual standoff might be out there right now in a business posturing on both sides because the clock's not even close to striking midnight for both of these sides on this subject matter. Why would you put yourself in the mosh pit with the Jets and the Raiders and the Giants and anybody else who might be looking for a quarterback this year in a draft market for quarterbacks and a free agent market for quarterbacks that would keep me up at night if I had to go get one right now to win. If I was a quarterback needy team, I'll tell you that. Why would you willingly put yourself in that mix when Matthew Stafford's sitting here in Los Angeles? And you can run this thing back. And you can maybe add some offensive linemen before the Chiefs add offensive linemen. And maybe you can add another weapon piece later in the draft, like Les Snead does all the time with Kyren Williams and Puka Nacua. Could you imagine they go and strike it rich like that in the draft, like they've struck it rich in the draft when they stopped effing all their picks?
I mean, I know we talk about Howie Roseman all the time, deservedly so, is one of the best GMs, but Les, man, he always hits home runs in the draft. Always.
And he does have that Patriot way, for the lack of a better phrase here, of looking at a guy and saying, we're going to part ways earlier than the rest of the world thinks it's suitable to part ways. And that might be what's happening with Cooper Kupp.
Maybe.
I don't know, but
he's owed a lot of money,
dude,
too.
The Rams came as close as anybody to the Eagles. And they have the same package that could have been rolled downhill at Mahomes, too. With a bunch of young bucks who are just out of their gourd.
Yeah, Jared Verse probably would have game wrecked the Super Bowl.
Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Jared Verse. So I'm just throwing that out there as a possible eye on things for the Eagles. But they are set. I mean, losing their offensive coordinator is one thing. They're going to have to go out there, and Hertz is going to have to do it again. But let's just run it back. Offensive line, Saquon, same weapons, Hertz, coach, defense, Fangio, Big Dom.
Big Dom.
Get the gang back together. They're a young team with now all the confidence in the world. Throw to have the targets on their backs. The rest of the league, roll it downhill again. And Saquon might be right. They're starting their own dynasty. Never know. Because they just came at one of the biggest beatdowns in the history of the Super Bowl, and that's a fact. And I know it was only 18 points at the end, but they just smoked the show.
It was 40-6.
They smoked the show on Sunday. 844-204-RICH, number to dial. We've got the play of the week. We got Overreaction Monday on a Tuesday. We've got your phone calls again at 844-204-RICH, number to dial. We got Albert Breer, fresh back from New Orleans. Dave McMenamin, fresh back from Crypto, where Luka and LeBron debuted here in Los Angeles on Monday night. It's a Tuesday, and Cooper DeJean is going to join us, getting ready for his first ever parade in Philadelphia. Not bad for the Iowa Hawkeye, who is now soaring as an eagle in the National Football League, fresh off his birthday pick six on the Rich Eisen Show next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Back on the Rich Eisen Show Radio Network, I'm sitting at the Rich Eisen Show desk furnished by Grainger. With supplies and solutions for every industry, Grainger has the right product for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. He had the play of the Super Bowl, in my estimation, which means it's got to be the play of the week. Brought to you by Sleep Number here on the Rich Eisen Show.
Back goes Mahomes. He's rushing. He's looking. It's intercepted. It's intercepted. Running the football to the 25. Down the far side is the Gene. And Gene is in for a touchdown. Happy birthday, Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean with a pick touchdown. A pick six in the Super Bowl on your birthday.
That is right. Happy 22nd birthday to Cooper DeJean, and part of his birthday gift is to appear on the Rich Eisen Show a couple days after being Super Bowl champion. So happy birthday, Cooper DeJean. Good to see you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You got it. So just hearing that back, what goes through your mind when you hear that pick six back, man?
It's crazy. It's crazy. Still doesn't feel real to me. You know, that happened, you know, but I'm just incredibly grateful to be a part of this group and this defense and what we've been able to accomplish all year. You know, I couldn't have done it without those guys up front, and you know, all of us in the back end just working together like we have all year to make that play possible.
Well, I mean, it's very kind and telling of you that you talk about your teammates here and such an incredible individual achievement in such a spot. Walk me through that moment from snap to touchdown, Cooper.
Yeah, so we were playing zone. Obviously, I was just dropping into coverage, dropping into my zone. Zach Bond ran through with the guy to the flat. And allowed me to fall back inside and you know, pick off the crosser that was coming across from the opposite side. You know, I don't think if I did pick it, I think Q might have picked it off too. You know, but it just, you know, fell right into my lap. I had to catch it. I've dropped a couple this season, so luckily I caught that one and found the quickest path I could to the end zone.
Brother, I mean, you're playing on your birthday in the Super Bowl, man. You know, kid born in South Dakota, you know, raised in, if I'm not mistaken, Odebolt, Iowa. Is that how you pronounce it? Did I say it correctly? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And Patrick Mahomes throwing passes spinning towards you in the Super Bowl. Is it slow motion time? Like, does that happen? It's like the Matrix? Like, what is it? What happened?
I mean, that didn't even cross my mind. I just saw the ball coming to me, and the first thing on my mind was just to catch it. And then, you know, when I caught it, all I thought about was going to try to find a way to the end zone. Luckily, I got some blocks out there from the big guys, and was able to find my way in there.
And then that moment right there where you're celebrating with your teammates, what was that like for you, Cooper?
It was awesome. I had so much excitement. I was running around like I was a little kid. I didn't have any celebrations planned or anything like that. I just celebrated with my teammates. It was awesome. You know, I was out of breath once I got to the sideline because I had so much excitement. I had to catch my breath. You got to go right back out there.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Most important question about it now: where is the football? Where is it?
Hopefully one of our equipment guys has it. I gave it to one of our equipment guys. They usually take good care of it, and hopefully it'll find my way find its way back to my locker.
If it's in Big Dom's lockbox, I think it's good. I think you're fine. You know, I'm sure it is. And that'll go where? Like, where's that going, Cooper? Where does that go?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'd probably put it up in a nice little case, somewhere in my place or back home. I haven't really thought that far.
Okay, very good. I know you're just living it day by day, moment by moment right now. I get it. Cooper DeJean here on the Rich Eisen Show from the Philadelphia Eagles, the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. You made a conscious choice of gear to show up to the game in. Is this your high school Letterman jacket, Cooper?
That is right there. OABCIG High School, class of 2021. I just thought, on the biggest stage, why not represent where I'm from, a place that's molded me into the person I am today. I grew up in a small town. Always had the dream of playing on the big stage, playing in the NFL. Always watched sports growing up, and it's something I had to work for, coming from a small town. And luckily my parents, they taught me, how to work for those things. And if I have dreams, they allowed me to chase them. And I'm grateful for that, and it's helped me get to this point.
Yeah, what's the population of your hometown? How many people in there?
I think it's just under 1,000. Just under 1,000.
So what got you ready for the big lights, man? Because you seem to be real comfortable in it. I got to be honest.
I think that's just how I've always been. I think, I try not to let the moment get too big. Try to stay even keel the whole time. I played in a couple state championships in high school, Big Ten championships in college, big games in college. I feel like I just had that. Always had that, calming, type presence to allow me to go out there and play to the best of my ability, one snap at a time.
Cooper DeJean here on the Rich Eisen Show. How'd you get comfortable so fast in the NFL? Who helped? What happened? Walk me through that process, Cooper.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of the guys that we have in our locker room, the older guys, the veterans in our DB room, Slay, Reed, CD. Vontae Maddox, those guys just helping me and Q grow, throughout ever since we got there. They really never treated us like rookies. They always, allowed us to speak freely and ask questions, talk about things in the meeting room, which helped us, play confident. And, the things we learned from those veteran guys on the field, helped us a lot as well. And the coaches, behind the scenes, our DB coach, me and Q met with him, at least 3 times a week, just going over game plan stuff and different things we might see, watching stuff from around the league, just trying to give ourselves that confidence, to go out there, that we've seen everything on film and, and we're ready for it all, when we step on that field.
Yeah, and the fact that you had another rookie go through it with you too, right? In Quinyon Mitchell's presence, What about that relationship? Camaraderie, competition, friendly competition? What's the description here, Cooper?
I think we grew really close. We have a really good friendship, over our time. Ever since we got here, we've always just wanted to learn together. We're always watching film together, doing extra work together. Just us wanted to help this team win. And luckily we both got our shot. To go out there and try and make an impact. Q started from week 1, and I got to watch him while I was playing special teams. Start on the defense, and he gave me confidence. To go out there when I got my shot to play confident and understand that I can play at this level. And I'm just grateful that I got to come in and learn with a guy like him.
And there's an old warhorse who's your DC, man, in Vic Fangio. You're already smiling. Can you give me a great story as to how he welcomed you, got you ready, maybe coached you hard? I'll give you the floor on anything on that front, Cooper.
Yeah, I think he coaches everybody in our defensive room hard. Never really smiles a whole bunch. I've seen him smile a couple times when we won the NFC Championship, and obviously when we won the Super Bowl. But I just loved learning from him this whole season. What he's brought to our room. He talks about toughness and tackling, physicality, every single day in our meetings. And that's what our defense did all year. We flew around to the ball. I think it's a lot of credit to him and the way he coaches us.
Yeah, I think there might be some through lines from Iowa, right, to Philadelphia in that regard. Seriously, like, Ferentz getting you ready, the type of style of play, the hard coaching, the hitting people, the physical nature. Am I wrong? Am I onto something here?
No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Going to the University of Iowa, you talk about physical football. That's where it's played at. The University of Iowa under Coach Ferentz, all three phases, from special teams to offense to defense, and then getting to learn from Coach Parker at the University of Iowa and what he taught me. Just and our whole defense, really just the physicality of the game. We were hitting every single day in practice. Everybody's running the ball. If you weren't running the ball, you hear about it in the film room or out at practice. And they preached perfection. They wanted us to be perfect in everything that we did out on that football field, from practice to the games. And I think it's preparing me really well for this moment.
Yeah, and then there's also the heart of it too, man. One of my favorite moments in sports is stopping to wave at the kids in the children's hospital looking into the stadium. That's the
Absolutely.
stuff. That's the stuff,
Absolutely.
man.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
Yeah. Do you have a good moment with that, or just any good memories for that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I think just anytime you think about those moments, or even when I was in college, just the emotion. I remember my last game at Iowa, the last home game. I wasn't playing, but I was on the sideline, just looking up there, and tears rolling down my face, just thinking about that, and what those kids mean to our football team. We have a kid captain every week from the hospital, and guys going in there and seeing the kids and hanging out, just trying to put a smile on their face. As we see, what they go through and their battles and how strong those kids are in that hospital. It gives us that extra strength. I think out there on the field in Kinnick Stadium with them watching over us.
And what does Sirianni do that we don't know? There's so much from the outside of talk coming in, but how did he get you to the spot where that hat is on your head right now, Cooper DeJean?
Man, I think since day one, he's been the same guy every single day. He comes in, coaches with passion. Some people like him, some people don't like him. That's okay. He doesn't care. He's going to be the same guy he's always been. Preaches the details of the game of football, from tackling to taking care of the ball. Everything within the game. He preaches it. I think that's helped our team play so well down the stretch. Obviously we got off to a little rocky start, but I don't think his confidence in us ever wavered, and our confidence in ourselves ever wavered. Because of our head coach and what he brings to the facility every single day, his passion and just his drive for the love of the game, and it helps us done.
And who, before I let you go, who spoke to the team before you went out on the field in New Orleans on Sunday night?
It's usually BG said a couple words, but Jalen Carter actually stepped up, and he said a few words prior to going out on the field, just talking about how this is our last opportunity. Why not leave it all on the field, and telling us that he's giving us everything he's got, and he expects us to do the same. And I think we went out and did that on Sunday night.
So the Jalen who spoke to the team before the game was Carter, not Hurst, is what you're saying?
Yes. Yes.
And what did that mean for you, being a rookie, seeing a second-year guy out there, follow up BG, the OG, and go out there?
It was really cool. He did last week in the NFC Championship game as well. Just seeing a guy like him who's grown as a leader in his second year, and who plays with a ton of passion, and is just such a great football player. Just seeing him step up and hearing what he has to say, it gets you ready to go. Makes you want to give everybody all you got.
All right. Well, you ready for parade, Cooper? You ready for?
Can't wait.
Have you gotten?
Crazy.
I was about to say, have you gotten any sort of heads up about what's to come? Has anybody kind of put you about this?
No heads up. No heads up, really. I've seen the videos of Broad Street after the NFC Championship game and after we won the Super Bowl. So I imagine it's gonna be quite the scene.
Lit.
In Philadelphia on Friday.
It shall be lit. No question about that. And what an incredible way for you to celebrate your birthday. I think we got a shot of you with a cake right there. What cake was that? Was that like a celebration cake? Do I see confetti in there or something like that?
It was, I believe it was the guys on ESPN.
That's right. Yep.
On the set there. They brought me and Saquon a cake, and I was just eating it, walking around the stadium after the game. It was a pretty good cake.
That's awesome.
Man, what a life. What a life. What if you told that kid maybe playing football in his backyard,
Yeah.
back there in Iowa, that this is what's happening. This is what would happen as a rookie in the NFL. What would that kid have said, Cooper?
He'd be ecstatic. He'd be really happy, really excited if he knew that, one day he'd grow up to play in the NFL and play for this organization and play in the Super Bowl on your birthday, let alone score a touchdown.
Pick six.
In the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And then, then parade up and then go about your business again. Are you going to bring the Lombardi to Odebo? Are you going to bring the trophy back home? Like,
I don't know. Is that allowed? I don't know.
Well, I mean, Cooper, it might not be allowed, but it may be part and parcel of your new standing within, pick-sixing in the Super Bowl. You might be able to ask, hey, what do you say? Can I get it for a day?
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool if I could do that.
Yeah. How would Odie Bolt, Iowa, welcome Big Dom? How would Big Dom look in Iowa? Guarding the trophy, Cooper. Let's go.
He definitely stand out. Amongst the small crowd in Odie Bolt, Iowa.
Yeah. Somebody would probably try to get him on their wrestling team. I bet.
Yeah.
He'd have a scholarship offer by the end of the day. Hey, Cooper, congratulations on everything that just happened to you from jump to this current moment, everything in your career. And it's a pleasure to say hello to you after such a momentous occasion so briefly. Enjoy the parade and look for more of my invitations. And hopefully you say yes to coming back on.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You bet. That's Cooper DeJean,
what a legend.
a Super Bowl 59 champion and one of only 2 humans to ever score a defensive touchdown on his birthday in the Super Bowl. Cooper DeJean. Fantastic.
Man, what a stud.
And that's our play of the week, brought to you by Sleep Number. Sleep better together. Save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Limited time exclusively at a Sleep Number store. I'm going to ask him the famed WizWit question. Because I don't want to get him in trouble.
No. I'm without. I'm not an Onions guy. So.
Hey, do you ask somebody from Western PA, Central PA that question, or it doesn't matter?
About that's not really a thing
for you
going that way.
Okay.
It's more of a Philly thing.
Got it.
Yeah. Cheesesteaks are so delicious, though.
All right, we will take a break. 844-204-RICH, number to dial when we come back. Phone calls, but in the meantime, on the Infinity Sports Network, here is a sports update from Andrew Bogish. Andrew?
Infinity Sports Network. Sports Flash.
Rancher update sponsored by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. Listen up, not all beef jerky's the same. Old Trapper is better for you and higher in essential protein than chips, sugar-filled energy bars, or candy. So ask for Old Trapper by name because no other jerky compares. Old Trapper, but your beef. 2 days after winning the Super Bowl, Eagles offensive coordinator Kellen Moore said to be finalizing the agreement to make him the Saints' new head coach, and now all top jobs have been filled. LeBron let him go last in pregame introductions. He posted 14.5 rebounds and 4 assists, and had a $500,000 donation to LA wildfire recoveries. The Lakers beat the Jazz 132-113. Extended win streak to 6. Night 1 as a Laker went pretty well for Luka Doncic.
I was a little nervous before. I remember when the last time I was nervous before the game. So once I stepped on the court, it was fun. Just being out there again felt amazing.
This was Luke's first game since hurting his calf back on Christmas, and the Anaheim Angels reportedly signing veteran closer Kenley Jansen for $10 million for the coming season. I'm Andrew Bogish.
Hey, like us on Facebook. Our handle is INF Sportsnet. That's INF Sportsnet for our Facebook page. This is the Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Back on the Rich Eisen Show radio network here on the Roku Sports Channel live stream. Hyundai is available on Amazon right now. Yes, indeed. Wait a minute. You can buy a Hyundai on Amazon? What? You might be asking that question. Here's the answer. Yes, you can. And the neat part on it is you don't have to break down a car-sized Amazon box after, because you get to pick up your Hyundai at the dealer. Hyundai is now available on Amazon. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details. Limited availability. Pick up through a participating Hyundai dealer in select markets. Tom in Delaware is first in, first up. What's up, Tom?
Oh, Rich, Chris, TJ, and Jay.
What's up, dude?
It's not Jay.
Oh, wow.
No.
Wow.
By the way, that's what you get, Mike. That's what you get. That's what you get.
I can't give me
when you tap out, for as long as you tap out.
I'm sorry.
No, Tom, you helped us make a point. Internally. No, it's okay.
Yeah, you said it. Not
Tom,
us. You said it.
Tom.
I think it's Tom's phone line just dropped.
No.
I'm getting Tom. I would never do that.
Let's keep every hand on two and your phone off the drop button. What's up, Tom?
Okay. Every situation requires the expertise of RES consulting.
Oh, okay. Very good. Forces unite. What do we have?
Okay, so 2 weeks ago, the best sports entertainment show in the country, with season stats for explosive runs by the three Buffalo Bills backs in order to support the criticism that James Cook was underutilized in the AFC Championship.
Okay.
So I put my AirPods in and multicast my way through the afternoon. They included a trip to the pharmacy where I put so many scripts they told me by my first name when I walked in. It's almost like Norman Pierce. So I'm at the counter with the line behind me, and the pharmacist established my order when I heard you say, let's go to line to Delaware. And this is where I need RES Consulting to help me out here. Because at this point, I'm guessing you guys would advise me to step out of line and discuss my quote with you guys. Would I be right in that?
Well, interesting choice here, Tom. So how many more people were behind you?
Oh, there's like 4 people behind me.
4 people.
No.
Hold on, wait a minute. Did you need to get your medication on the spot? Like, were you feeling under the weather and needed to get started towards feeling better?
Oh, no. These are regular medications I take. And that's what I went to do. I went to raise my hand, my finger, and say, like, wait, I was going to step out of line. And I went back and listened. There's 10 seconds of dead air except for beep, because he starts to ring my order in.
Okay. All right, Tom, interesting. No, you should talk to me.
Okay, so after he scans the first script, I realized I had 2 choices. Either I hang up or I go ahead with the call. So I decided to stay with the call, rattled off stats for the 3 backs.
Interesting.
And I concluded the Bills had 2 explosive weapons. The Chiefs had limited Jim Kelly and Buffalo usually took on their own. I was so adrenaline I called Josh Allen Jim Kelly. A little old. So I wrapped up the phone call and the transaction at the same time. And the pharmacist got realizing I was talking to you, stated,
Very impressive. Tom in Delaware is the new, and thanks for the call, Tom.
I do remember that because I was like, did he just say Jim Kelly?
It's interesting. He's now he's now the Jalen Hurts of pharmacy goers. Listen, let me just put it out there for everybody. If you are online waiting for your medication and you need to take your meds, don't talk to us. Just tell Adam in the back. Adam can handle it.
Don't hang up on me.
Yeah, don't hang up on me. We're reasonable people. The one thing that I know, I consulted my doctor, and it is not right for me, is dead air. Dead air is terrible for me. Good. Yeah, and there's no medication for it.
10 seconds of dead air, too.
Hey, Mike, how was Lady Gaga?
Really good.
Oh, really?
I didn't go see it.
Oh, you were in the crowd
because
there?
At the open of the Super Bowl, it looked like everybody from Fox was there. Literally, it's just like the entire street was filled with Fox people.
Not there.
Like they might even have invited Chef Smith back. That's how many Fox people were there.
Chef Smith.
I mean, that's how many people were there.
Mike, info
might have been there. Like I don't know. Who else? But you didn't get the invite?
Rich.
Mike.
Rich. It's called working, Rich.
Oh.
No, but she sounded great. I thought you definitely were working the boards for Lady Gaga.
No, not at all. Not at all. Those are professionals. I'm not a professional.
Okay.
I'm a semi-professional.
Is that, and you were not there because...
By the way, they did Jamie, the mixer that mixed the game, and Mike, who...
It sounded great. It was a great broadcast.
These guys, Mike Stock, the pregame guys.
Great broadcast.
Game guys, it was amazing.
What did you think of the new score bug?
I didn't like that.
I like it.
I don't understand why television networks that host the Super Bowl, that broadcast the Super Bowl, why? Does the NFL tell them that you must change your graphic? It was huge and it was floating.
And blocky?
It was huge and it was floating.
And blocky?
Here's the thing.
What's the thing?
It doesn't exist without Fox creating that thing and putting it in there.
What, the box?
Yeah, and keeping it up there. And we all know, like, Dick Ebersol didn't want to do it.
Foxbox.
Foxbox. I mean, it's called the Foxbox for a reason. And in saying that, people were ripping it apart on Twitter. I'm like, you guys don't realize. You all complained that because people that were complaining, they created that. They can do whatever they want. It's fair enough to go.
It was translucent too. You could see kind of feel behind it.
I liked it, but I think the older one was too big. Like when people would score, and they do all the.
But it
sounded great.
It did.
It does.
The podcast was.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the score.
Now, were you not invited to Gaga because you got caught trying to sneak the Rich Eisen show flag onto the field during the halftime?
Oh God, did you see that? No, it sounded amazing. Janie does a great job.
Okay.
The gaming. I mean. Those guys all.
Well, welcome back, Mike. I just, we missed you. Glad to see you got a free hat.
Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining.
Spot in sports, you'd think that you'd want to highlight the regular NHL season, I would think.
It ain't dead for me. Johnny's dead. Are you kidding me? We're trying to get in the top 5 next week.
I would say, what was the actual question there? Because I would say it's a bald-faced
better than nothing,
lie.
basically.
I think it's stupid. I would rather have a natural either hockey games that mean something or the natural All-Star weekend.
You and I are a little different.
1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This is Rich Eisen Show.
Hey, everybody.
Can't get enough of the Rich Eisen Show? You're in luck. You can find us everywhere. Watch us weekdays on the Roku Sports Channel from noon to 3 Eastern. Miss the show? We've got a podcast so you can listen anytime. But here's the best part. Our YouTube channel. Subscribe at youtube.com/Rich Eisen Show and you'll never miss a moment. Now, on with the show. This is the Rich Eisen Show.
Ertz on the sneak. Kyle drives his way in. Touchdown.
The Rich Eisen Show.
The journeys are what it's all about. I love Jalen Hurts.
It's always the beginning until it's the end.
Dude is a winner.
Live from the Rich Eisen Show studio in Los Angeles.
The Philadelphia Eagles laid the wood to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Earlier on the show, Eagles cornerback Cooper DeJean. Coming up, senior writer for the MMQB, Albert Breer. ESPN NBA reporter Dave McMenamin. And now, it's Rich Eisen.
Hour 2 of the Rich Eisen Show is on the air. Albert Breer will be joining us in just about 20 minutes' time. Fresh back from New Orleans. Lots to talk about. Kellen Moore staying behind. He's going to be the next coach of the New Orleans Saints. Also, some items that we didn't discuss while we were Super Bowl centric on the Jets, and Aaron Rodgers apparently going to part ways.
Ooh.
You see that one?
More on that later.
Oh, we have more on that later? What do you mean? Oh, on Overreaction Monday on a Tuesday? Oh, guess what? I'm gonna give my 2 cents on this right here. I'm Omahaing.
Where is Aaron right now?
Well, apparently, according to Jay Glazer, he hopped a plane.
Yeah, they invited
himself
him.
To go to the Jets facility for them to tell him face to face, turn around and go back.
Oh. We don't know where he was.
I don't know.
Maybe he was out here, I guess.
I'm imagining wherever he was, he flew in just to be told, I don't think he's going to work out, which is the exact opposite of what happened when they went to first get him. Remember they flew out?
Yeah, to Malibu.
On Air Woody with Robert Saleh and everybody and Joe Douglas, the general manager. In other words, everybody that Woody fired during the season last year.
Oh, good point.
Just 1 year after going on Air Woody to tell Aaron, hey, we want you to come to New Jersey.
Yeah, good point.
And you bring your Hall of Fame resume, and that's all that's needed to take this young roster that Joe Douglas expertly put together through the last couple of drafts to the point where we're ready to win now. We're ready to win now. We're ahead of schedule thanks to our offensive and defensive rookies of the year and everybody else balling out. And yada, yada, yada. Didn't work out. Most disappointing 2-year stretch I can remember for the Jets. And then 4 snaps in, and he snaps his Achilles, and then the next year, he and the Jets had a ghost ship of a season. But you can't blame Aaron Glenn for wanting a completely fresh start, that we're going to run the offense that I want to run. Mm-hmm. I'm imagining it's something that Aaron Rodgers could understand or maybe doesn't want to do either. Right? If he's the end of a stretch and wants to keep playing. Sure, he and Devontae Adams could run it back for the Jets, but this is not a fantasy camp for two guys who love playing together. And I don't know. Obviously, it might not have been contentious at all. It might have been like, hey, this is what we're thinking. What are you thinking? This is what I'm thinking. Well, at the end of the day, I guess we should go our separate ways. Oh, sure. Okay. Hug it out and gone. I don't know what happened in that meeting. The reports all came out at the same time. Did you notice that too during the Sunday morning shows? As if somebody on one of the sides of this decided to call everybody and say it's over and use this moment to let it be known.
Is there an insider group text?
I don't know.
Like Schefter, Tom,
I
don't
think so.
Diana,
but I think it's definitely a coordinated moment where everybody had the same scoopage, to use one word, and it makes total sense. I just don't know who the Jets are going to go to. I don't know would they take Shedeur if he drops.
Ooh, that's fun.
Would they go ahead and say, welcome to New York? You imagine the Giants and the Jets are the ones who wind up with quarterbacks in the top of this draft?
So Jets are 7.
Well, the Raiders are right in front of them. So one would think that
they'd have to go up.
They'd have to go up if they love them.
Yeah.
And the Jaguars would definitely sit there. They're sitting there 5 thinking, we don't need a quarterback. Everybody knows the Raiders are about to go take one or thinks that they do. Hey, who wants to sit right there? I'm sure the Patriots would raise their hands and say, we'll go first in that regard. If you want to beat anyone in the punch, go up to 4.
Patriots and Jets doing a draft day trade would be something, but you get an extra
the Bills
pick or two.
The Bills and the Chiefs just did one. The Commanders and the Eagles did one for Cooper DeJean, our first hour guest.
I bet the Bills would want that one back.
I don't know, man. We'll see how Keon Coleman works out. I'm just throwing it all out there that how wild would it be if the Jets go, you know what would be perfect for us right now is Sam Darnold, who, by the way,
would be perfect
would
for
kind
them
of
right
be
now.
perfect for them right now.
Right.
But all those options for the Jets should be entertained. The last 2 years needs to be wiped out. Like you remember how the Jets got wiped out by the Patriots in a regular season game? And don't answer yet because there's many of those. But the one that caused Rex Ryan to bury the football. Mm-hmm. The last 2 years for the Jets should be buried like next to that football. If they have that territory still there, if that football is buried at the Jets facility somewhere still, they should, like a graveyard, like a Jets let's memory hole graveyard. They should find a plot next to it, come up with a football that's like a game ball from the last 2 seasons, and bury one from each of the last 2 seasons, and just bury it and move on. And guys, I know people will lay stuff on Rodgers' lap. It is a collective. And, I can't wait to see what Aaron Glenn brings to this equation, what the new general manager brings to this equation. I told you the first order of business for the general manager should be to figure out Garrett Wilson. Mm-hmm. And the first order of business for Aaron Glenn should be going right to Sauce Gardner and saying, whatever caused you to respond on social media to somebody saying, talk to T. Higgins to come to the Jets, and you're like, basically, nah, I'm not going to do that to him. Whatever caused Sauce Gardner to lose his faith and have any sort of his confidence in succeeding in New Jersey and New York for the Jets shaken in any way, fix that. That's Aaron Glenn's first order business. You go to the 2 offensive and defensive rookies of the year that you have. Those, you go to those ROIs and say, we buried those footballs. Last 2 years are gone. Done. You got Tyrod Taylor in the house. Great guy. You want to get somebody younger in front of him? Great. You want to go with Tyrod Taylor next year and figure out and kick the can down the road? I'm fine with that too. I mean, the Jets are, I have a young team and you want to win now, but what are you going to do? You're going to hope Kirk Cousins pops free and you're going to go with another guy from another team coming off another Achilles injury? You're going to go with him? Who else? I mean, you want to call up Les Snead and go YOLO from Matthew Stafford?
Ooh.
I can't imagine that is anywhere in the cards. You're going to go with somebody else who's pushing the end of retirement. You got to find yourself the next guy. You got to find yourself your Jaden Daniels, your CJ Stroud. You got to find your Mahomes. You got to find your guy. And if it's not in this draft, the next one, take your freaking time. Get the culture right. But it makes sense to part ways with Rodgers. And for Rodgers, I don't know. Remember that Red Hot Titans rumor? Remember that one?
Well, he has a place in
that house
Nashville,
in Nashville.
Right? Yeah.
Everyone was doing the lifestyles, the rich and famous.
Uh-huh.
You're trying to Zillow your way to understanding the quarterback market. I don't know.
Yep.
I mean, that's not a bad choice, but that's not a way to go out like, Elway, if that's what he's envisioning. Raiders? You do that? You go to and he can install himself in a manner in which he's comfortable. I'd entertain that idea if I'm a franchise that needs somebody over 1, 2, or 3 years. Don't forget, I mean, if this is the narrative that's playing out, okay, that the Jets take an all-time Packers great who goes there and has a completely forgettable tenure, a total disappointment of a tenure. And then he goes somewhere else and damn near makes the Super Bowl. That's the Favre journey. Obviously, that wound up in Minnesota. That's not where Rodgers is going.
They're the 4th best odds.
Come on, is Minnesota?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Well, you're not going to like who's 3rd then.
Who would that be?
Well, San Francisco.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Would you rather pay Purdy 60 or Rodgers $30 million?
All right. Let's just talk about this too. This is great. We had planned none of this, okay? The San Francisco stuff is nuts. I don't understand the Purdy slander and the Purdy hate. And everybody assumes Purdy is going to hold out for every penny. Everybody assumes that Purdy's going to get that $60 million. I don't know if that's what Purdy and the 49ers are going to work out. If I'm Purdy, I'll take the generationally brilliant price tag of Goff. I'll take the generationally brilliant price tag of what Mahomes is playing for right now.
And Kyler Murray.
I would do that and just know that I need to make sure I'm protected up front and I've got the weaponry that's required of me to show that I'm the guy. And in terms of the Purdy hate, I mean, who can be trusted more about knowing quarterbacks and quarterbacking and worthiness of being a quarterback than Joe Montana? Tell me. Oh, Joe's the all-time great. He's a GOAT. He's this, he's that. He's Joe Cool. He knows exactly what to do under pressure. He's neck up, one of the best. Neck down, no, he's not winning any contests. Even Montana said he wasn't winning a lot of numbers contests when he stopped by our show last week at the Super Bowl. But going out the door, I asked Joe Montana, what about Purdy? He's like, they should pay him. He didn't stutter. He didn't go, well, I mean, I need to see more out of him. Well, I don't know, guys. Well, no, Joe Montana's like, pay him. He should be the quarterback of the future, says Joe Montana, of the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers. And he doesn't know. He doesn't know. What is he? Suddenly there are people. I saw responses to the video he posted.
Well,
and
Rich,
suddenly, what does he know about quarterbacks?
Well, Rich, if you listen to these people, he won 4 Super Bowls, but they were like 40 years ago. Yeah. They don't count.
Also,
all that stuff doesn't count because it happened over 10 years ago.
Plus, and it's suddenly it's just it's a system. He was a system guy.
Yeah,
product of the Walsh system. You know. Without Rice, he's nothing.
Yeah,
he's on the Wall Street.
Except, wait a minute, he won one without Rice.
It happened before the iPhone came out, so
by the way,
clearly doesn't matter.
Those games were in black and white too, right?
By definition, quarterbacks shouldn't be talking about 21st century issues.
Well, he was playing against plumbers.
4x3.
You know, he was playing against plumbers.
It was 4x3.
You know what I mean?
No score bug.
There was only 8 yards on the field. You know.
Yeah, it's before that.
So Purdy haters, who are the ones saying, you know what? The Niners are going to blink and they're going to go, we're not paying Purdy. We'd rather take Aaron Rodgers at age 41. We're going to punt Purdy. So the third best odds of where Aaron Rodgers is showing up is San Francisco.
Yes.
That's nuts.
Some places it's the second best.
They're going to pay Purdy. People will have a problem with paying Purdy. And all I will say to those people is, oh, so Joe Montana doesn't know what he's talking about quarterbacking and quarterbacking for the 49ers. Oh, okay.
Okay, buddy.
I'm just reporting what the sports books are saying. You know, I don't know.
All right.
The Saints are also on there.
Come on.
Seahawks, Browns.
No, the Saints are not a bad option also.
Yeah, spots on there. So,
you know, that's not a bad. These are not bad options, but Rodgers wants to win before he wants to go out like Elway and Strahan and Bettis. You know,
Ray Lewis.
Browns would be a good spot.
You know,
Steelers are a good spot.
Browns would be a good spot. Interesting. Would that cause Myles Garrett to go, wait a minute?
No.
Potentially.
I don't know.
No, it wouldn't.
I don't think anything's going to cause Myles Garrett to know that, to say that.
Yeah, he has like double, tripled, and quadrupled down on wanting a
Ever
trade.
since then.
Yeah.
After us,
it's like he's just like kept throwing chips into the middle of the table.
Yeah, he was on ESPN Super Sunday.
Yeah, literally on Sunday, like, yeah, no, I want out.
Yeah,
I'm out of here.
All right, we'll take a break. Albert Breer will join us next, fresh back from New Orleans. Overreaction Monday on a Tuesday still to come. It's Dave McMenamin on the Luka LeBron debut, still on our docket.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Radio Network. I'm sitting at the Rich Eisen Show desk furnished by Grangerwood Supplies and Solutions for every industry. Granger has the right product for you. Call clickgranger.com or just stop by. When TJ just taps out of a Del Tufo conversation, I know that he's just like, he's out of it.
TJ, you want to feed the squirrel?
I mean,
definitely doesn't. All right. From Sports Illustrated, our buddy, Mr. MMQB himself, from Prime Video as well, Thursday Night Football's Albert Breer. Good to see you, brother. How are you?
Good to see you, Rich. I apologize in advance if my voice is a little scratchy.
No, it's everybody. Everybody got something there, dude. Seriously, everybody brought something home from New Orleans, and I'm not talking about a snow globe. Like, you know what I mean? It's just the town was lit. There were people everywhere. I could see you're fighting it off, and I appreciate you doing this show here. Your impressions of Super Bowl 59. You were there. You were interviewing people galore afterwards. I'll give you the floor and your takeaway from Super Bowl 59, Albert Breer.
Two things. Number one, just complete organizational triumph. I think, a lot of times, we want to assign credit in the aftermath of a Super Bowl with one person or one figure or one area of a team, and it's, the quarterback or, when the Giants won those Super Bowls, it was the D-line or, the coach in a lot of cases. And, I don't want this to be taken as taking away from Nick Sirianni or Jalen Hurts or the offensive or defensive lines. But I mean, to me, what this is complete, total organizational triumph. And people like me should have seen it coming because they played this way against Washington in the NFC title game too, but I think if you look up and down the operation, it's a franchise that's humming, and you have Howie Roseman at the top of his game as the general manager, with a vast personnel department that goes well beyond scouting. It's how they develop players. It's the investment that goes into all of that. It's it's the coaching staff, and not just Nick Sirianni, but the great coordinators he had in Kellen Moore, who's off to New Orleans now, and Vic Fangio, who's one of the greatest of all time at calling a defense. And then it's the roster. It's just it's hard to find a hole, and the job they did in kind of addressing some of the holes they did have. Like the secondary was an issue, right? Overall team speed on defense was an issue. So they draft Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, and they find Zach Bond as kind of like a mid-level gem on the trade market or on the free agent market. And I mean, wouldn't you know it? But DeJean and Bond are making two of the biggest plays in the Super Bowl. And then there's all the homegrown talent there, guys like Hurts, guys like Jordan Mailata, that were really developed there and developed through the system. Josh Sweat was developed there over the years, it's unbelievable. Like if you look at it at every level, and it's even though they've gotten things wrong, I'm going on and on, Rich, because I think there's so many people to credit here, you get it wrong with Jalen Reagor and J.J. Arcega-Whiteside in consecutive drafts, and then you get Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown in the 2 off seasons after that. You strike out with Andre Dillard at left tackle, and you wind up with Jordan Mailata. I can't say enough good things about the way that this team's been put together, and then I think if there's one thing that's replicable, because you can't replicate all of that, right? It's invest in the offensive and defensive lines. You know what I mean? Like, to me, the failure for the Chiefs here was A, they couldn't block the Eagles, and B, they couldn't get to Jalen Hurts. That was the game, right? And that's because the Eagles invested so much in the lines of scrimmage. And consider this, Rich, right? This happened in the year that Jason Kelce and Fletcher Cox, 2 team Hall of Famers, retired, and maybe 2 Pro Football Hall of Famers. So in the year that they lose, Jason Kelce on offense and Fletcher Cox on defense, they dominate the Super Bowl at the lines of scrimmage.
It is unbelievable. I mean, and I know you said you should have seen it coming, but really it is one of the biggest tar beatings we've witnessed in the Super Bowl this century. I understand you got to put the Bucks over the Raiders in San Diego.
It's how I grew up, Rich. It's how I grew up watching.
I know, and that's what Super Bowls used to be. But in this century, most of the Super Bowls have been really close. The Ravens beat down of the Giants to kick off. This century is one of them. You take a look at.
Bucks, Raiders.
Yeah, Seattle over Denver as well. I mean, right, and the Bucks over the Chiefs. The Chiefs have suffered 2 of the beatdowns, but it's similar things. As you go get Mahomes, and then you go and you make sure that your guy stays upright, and you win the Super Bowl. It's a great tried and true method. The question is the Ravens, Bills, rest of the AFC, Texans. Anybody else that has designs to finally beat Mahomes and make sure he doesn't get there? The Bengals getting back, past him and back. I mean, is this a cautionary sort of blueprint? What do you think, Albert?
What do you mean, that there's a path? For
those teams? I mean that these teams see what the Eagles have built, and some of them are close enough where you add this, you add that, and boom, you have the recipe to go hunt, and be the hunters.
So, I think we look at the Chiefs now. Are they at the point where it's now transition from Mahomes 1.0 to Mahomes 2.0, right? That's where the Patriots were after losing Super Bowl 42 to the Giants. If you remember, they had on that team Rodney Harrison, Mike Vrabel, Richard Seymour. There were a lot of players that were part of the and foundation pieces of the first phase of that dynasty. And then the 3 years after that, Brady gets hurt in 2008. They miss the playoffs. In 2009, they win their division, but they get the tar beaten out of them by the Ravens in the wild card round. And then after that, they get back up off the mat with a younger team. They go 14-2, but they lose in the divisional round. And then, of course, in 2011, they make the Super Bowl, and now you're back rolling again. are they at that point now with, Chris Jones and Travis Kelce being older? They've done a really good job of feeding that roster with some younger pieces. So is like Trent McDuffie, George Karlaftis, Creed Humphrey. Do you have players that are capable of being sort of those tentpole pieces, or do you have to go find them now? The AFC is going to be challenging for the foreseeable future. I mean, if you had to name the top 4 quarterbacks in football this year, I think most people would come up with the same list. Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Burrow, all of those guys are in the AFC. We'll see what Justin Herbert can be, under Jim Harbaugh now going forward. CJ Stroud, obviously had a great rookie year, had a little bit of a sophomore slump, but I think he's, in that group of promising young guys too. And you have rookies like Bo Nix and Drake May. It's going to be challenging to keep winning in that conference. So I don't think the Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs or anything next year. Don't get me wrong. But are they maybe now facing the challenge of having to transition from Mahomes 1.0 to Mahomes 2.0, which by the way, he's 30, this calendar year. That to me is kind of, where I think the challenge is going to come. The next challenge is going to come for Andy Reid, Brett Veach, and all the guys running that team.
Well, I mean, I would even, I'll follow up by saying you could say that this would be Mahomes 3.0, because Mahomes 2.0 is post Tyreek Hill winning 2 in a row anyway. That going from the explosive, we can come back from 24 down on Bill O'Brien without breaking a sweat type awesomeness to we're going to make a profit by not going broke, and we're going to play defense, and then we'll just keep making all the right plays. And that's the 2.0 version. Now this may be the 3.0 version of it, figuring out what the next 5-10 year plan is. I don't know how we should react to the Chiefs just yet, because they still did win 15 games, first of its kind for a back-to-back champion. Made the Super Bowl, first of its kind for a back-to-back champion. I mean, they just ran into a team that I don't know if anybody was going to beat the way that they played out.
I've heard people talk about the Bills and Ravens. I don't think anybody was beating the Eagles.
Not the way they're playing. I mean, they were going to go hunt down anybody, and Saquon, run it 25 times, not get any yards, didn't matter. They were still the same bounds, and Hurts is one of the best winners we've seen in quite a while, and you got to give it up to him. It's just as you point out, totally organizational. Before we transition off of the Super Bowl, Albert, did the Eagles try and make a run at Kellen Moore to say stay put, and hang with us? Did they spend the 24-hour period trying to make a run post Super Bowl in him?
So my understanding is both are they have invested so much in the coordinators. Between the two of those guys, between Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio, I think the number's around $9 million per year. So you consider when you're spending that much on your coordinators already, how much further do you go? Now Chip got $6 million from the Raiders, so you could push it, and maybe they made a play to do that. I think they would have loved to have kept Kellen Moore. He did a really great job. I mean, the one thing that I think sort of got lost in all of this is Kellen did a great job synthesizing a ton of stuff, because he was inheriting staff, Jeff Stoutland, Kevin Patullo, there are guys in that staff that were held over that, had to learn Kellen Moore's offense, and Kellen Moore had to learn what they were doing. So there's a lot of head coach stuff he was doing there. So yeah, they would have loved to have kept him. I also, feel like they know what they're doing here. You know what I mean? And I think they had an idea that Kellen Moore could be a one-year solution if everything worked out, and obviously it did work out. So how hard did they push to keep him? I think the idea of keeping him was certainly something that was in play for them, but I also think they believe that they've got answers, and maybe it's Patullo who's really deserved his shot to be an offensive coordinator, to run his own show somewhere. And I think he'd be a name to watch, over the coming days as somebody who could replace Kellen Moore.
Okay. Wow. Chip Kelly got $6 million. I mean, that's
so much money.
That's Caleb Downs' money, Albert. Wow.
Well, I mean, Brady wasn't lying about there being more money and resources in Vegas now. I think those new guys, the guys, your Egan Durbins, your Tom Wagners, your Mike Meldmans. There's some
Meldman.
people that are helping.
Look at you, Albert. Okay, I like it. But he totally didn't get my.
No, he just blew right past.
No, I don't think he heard it.
Did I miss it? What did I miss?
I said $6 million a year. That's Caleb Downs' money, man.
Oh, yeah. They can. Hey, as far as I'm concerned, I'll say this right into the camera.
Yes, sir.
They can pay Caleb Downs whatever he wants.
I'm with you. I'd be the same way. All right, Albert Breer here on the Rich Eisen Show. So what happened between the Jets and Aaron Rodgers exactly that you can tell us?
So they wanted to, the new guys there, Aaron Glenn, Darren Mucci, wanted to handle this the right way. And so, they didn't have an answer yet on whether or not Aaron wants to play next year, which is, still something to consider. But, they felt like the right way to do it would be to fly him out and have a discussion with him. And the end of that discussion is that, that they're moving on. And so I think what's fascinating to me about the point the spot the Jets are in is, like, a lot of times I feel like these teams go all in and, it's win now and then it has to be a tear down after, right? Like, so you go and leverage contracts and you go and get guys the quarterback is comfortable with, and Devontae Adams and Alan Lazard, and last year was Randall Cobb. And, you want to, you look at it at the end of that, and oftentimes just like, we have to tear it down. The Jets aren't in that spot. I mean, the Jets have something to sell another quarterback. If you look at their roster, right, like, this is what Joe Douglas actually did a decent job of stocking the roster with guys who are still, I think in a lot of cases ascending. Garrett Wilson, Olu Fashanu, Breece Hall, Quinnen Williams, Jermaine Johnson,
Sauce Gardner. I mean, you can keep going on and on.
Quincy Williams.
There's no doubt. There
are players there,
right? And that's why the Rodgers move made sense. It's just like, add Aaron if he's the guy from Green Bay that everybody came to know and love, and then just add him and see how it goes. We know how that all worked out. So what would be the Jet plan? Sitting there at 7, drafting, going into the free agent market, and I mean, what would the plan be here? What is planning?
I think it's a bridge quarterback for now. Like, I just think where you are at 7, there are going to be teams that are going to. I mean, you'll see in the combine in 2 weeks, Rich. When you do your homework, as you always do. I just don't think anybody's I think there are a lot of teams that are unconvinced that there's anybody in this year's draft who can be a long-term answer at quarterback. And I think if you're in the AFC, part of the equation, I think this is the case for the Titans at 1, for the Browns at 2, certainly the Jets at 7. You have to look at the class, and part of the equation has to be, okay, we're going to draft this guy. We can get him up and running, right? Like in year 2, year 3, we can get him to a competitive level. Is he ever going to be good enough to compete with the group of Burrow, Allen, Mahomes, Jackson, Stroud, Herbert, Nix? He could ascend potentially into that group. Maybe he could eventually ascend into that group. Herbert, I missed him. I think that's got to be part of the equation for you. And I just don't know if at the end of this we're going to be looking at me, and I haven't done all my homework either yet, but I don't know, like, that the league is going to look at Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders and say yes. So, I think, for teams like the Jets and the Giants, like, they have to look at the idea of a bridge. So who is that bridge? Does Matthew Stafford become available?
Why would he, Albert? Why would he become available? Why? I mean, because everything that you just mentioned about the draft not being all that, and then the free agency market might not be all that either. Why would the Rams want to put themselves in that position when they've got the guy in position with the coach who is as spectacular as they come, right? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't know why that would happen, why the Rams would willingly let that happen,
I think it would be contractual.
Okay.
I think what it would be is the negotiation last year did get contentious at times, and it took 6 months to get that deal done. And they moved $5 million forward. So he got a $5 million raise. He was looking for a raise. They guaranteed his money for 2024. They then removed all the guaranteed money for 25 and basically agreed at that time, we will revisit this in 2025. So now they're at that point. So now he's making $4 million less than he had initially been scheduled to make this year, with the other million again coming from 2026. And how do you revisit this? And if you're Matthew Stafford, you look at it and say there are 9 quarterbacks scheduled to make over $50 million next year. And I'm making less than half of that in 2025. And then how much are you asking for? And how much are you asking for in guarantees? And are you going to tell the Rams, yes, I'm in this for this year and next year and the year after, or is it still just a year-to-year proposition? And if you're the Rams, you look at this and you say, we're one of the youngest teams in football now. So we're looking to build around guys like Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams and Jared Verse and Braden Fisk and Kobe Turner, and Byron Young. And do we want to get younger at quarterback? Do we want to start the process of really leaning into this young core? So much of it's about timelines to me. You know what I mean? Like, so you say, yes, we'll go forward for another year with you, Matthew. Are you now in a tough spot in 2026 as this young core is coming of age? It's just, I think a lot of it has to do with those questions. And when Matthew makes what makes clear to them, A, I want this much money, and B, here's my plan for the next year and going forward, then they get to the nitty gritty of it. Like, where does that come out? And then if another team comes along, say a Pittsburgh or the Giants, and offers a first-round pick, I just look at these sorts of things. You know what I mean? And it's like, is all this going to match up? I don't know. I don't know. Could Sam Darnold be an answer for them for the time being, who's from Los Angeles? There's just a lot that they have to sort through. And I don't think it's necessarily the easiest thing in the world. If it was as easy as Sean McVay loves Matthew Stafford and wants him to be the quarterback in 2025, then yeah, let's go. But, I don't think it's that simple.
All right. So before I let you go, the number that Brock Purdy's annual salary begins with next year is?
A 4 or a 5. Is that what you're going to ask me?
Oh, it could be a 6. Could be a 6.
I'd say a 5.
Okay.
I think they're going to find a middle ground. I think he's going to wind up not being the highest paid. But I think, one thing you can do for a quarterback is you can exchange the raw dollars for maybe an extra year of guarantees where you can give him the comfort level that you are going to be our quarterback, And I think maybe the model's the Jared Goff deal, where if you're the Niners, you can look at him with a straight face and you can say, we think he can bring to our team what Jared Goff brings the Lions, And I know this, this thing could be simple. It could wind up becoming really complicated. We'll see. The Niners want Brock Purdy to be their quarterback. Kyle Shanahan loves Brock Purdy. And the idea of building around Brock Purdy is something that really appeals to them. And they don't want to sink to the bottom of the league and have to rebuild around somebody else. And they've already done the Trey Lance thing. And so I think they're going to find a way to get it done. And the team's going to look different around him next year. And they're going to have to deal with some different challenges having a quarterback at the top of the market on their books. But they did deal with that once with Jimmy Garoppolo. They've got tough decisions to make on guys like Deebo Samuel, who I think is gone, and they'll have some, they'll have some free agents that they're going to have that they really like that they'll have to probably let go of, Charvarius Ward, and they're going to have to cut some veteran players like maybe a Javon Hargrave. I do think that Brock Purdy's going to be part of the equation, though.
Albert, thanks for the time. Keep pounding that emergency, brother. Be well.
Hey, you got that right. I didn't even tell you what it was. How about that?
I've been there, done that.
You got that exactly right. Emergency,
you and I sometimes don't see eye to eye, but our sinuses do.
There you go.
Okay, very good. Take care of yourself, Bert. You're the best.
All right,
great season, but and I'll see you in Indy, if not before.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, Albert Breer, Prime Video, Thursday Night Football, Sports Illustrated, and Mr. Columbus, Ohio.
I think other than you guys, I saw Albert the most last week. I ran into him multiple times every day.
He works it. He is such a lead pipe wielding professional and a great human. We'll be back on the Rich Eisen Show at the Luka LeBron Parade. They're having one today. No, they're not. Wait a minute. Well, let's see if Rich Ackerman has that as part of his update.
Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
Well, there'll be a parade for the Eagles Friday. Kellen Moore, though, is leaving Philly while going out on top and now takes on the new challenge as he and the Saints have come to terms on a deal to make him the team's next head coach. At age 36, he's a first-time head coach and got the nod over former special teams man Darren Rizzi, among others. ESPN reports former Chargers head man Brandon Staley is a candidate to replace him in Philly. The Athletic reports the Jets were open to Aaron Rodgers returning, but on their terms, which meant full involvement in the offseason and no more appearances on the Pat McAfee show. Auburn held on to the top spot in the poll this week despite a loss at home to Florida. The Tigers back at it tonight on the road at Vanderbilt, while the aforementioned Gators will also be on the road at Mississippi State. And also in the SEC, fifth-ranked Tennessee takes on number 15 Kentucky. The first half of the NBA season is in its final days. The All-Star break begins after Thursday night, and just 4 games on the schedule tonight, among them the Knicks in Pacers in a playoff rematch from a year ago. And veteran reliever Kenley Jansen has come to terms with the Angels on a 1-year deal worth $10 million. I'm Rich Ackerman.
This is the Infinity Sports Network. Follow us on Instagram. Our handle is Infinity Sports Network. That's Infinity Sports Network to follow us on Instagram.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Back on the Rich Eisen Show, everybody. In a heartbeat, I would host a dog show. And you'd watch it.
I could see you.
Oh,
By the way,
God.
he's there. You're here.
I could see
he hosts it.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I was. I'd be for a couple days on Dog Show. It was great.
It's a
And
great.
I saw Ice-T.
Oh,
Ice-T
Jennings before he passed away.
at the dog show?
Yeah,
in New York?
I had Trump there. This is before.
yeah.
Okay. Did you walk in on dogs getting ready?
No,
Is that wrong?
he was sitting down. On
It's like you're asking for it. You know, you're asking for it.
I would kill a dog show.
It was fun. It was the garden I did. It was really
I
fun.
don't know if I do it like that in show. I'd have my fun. I would treat it seriously, but I still have fun. You know?
Like backstage, like dog is like some cute, cool kind of spacing up. It was intense. Dog people are intense. Like the handlers and the groomer, like they're so intense.
One year I hosted a dog rescue dog show with Rebecca Romaine.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And I think it was on the Hallmark Channel. I think it was.
you're right about that.
And it was crazy. We shot it way out in the hinterlands here in Southern California, and it was recorded. It was not live. And that's why I want to do dog show live in Worst Way. But I said yes to doing it because I've always wanted to do anything with dogs, and I said yes to doing it, even though it was on a playoff Sunday. It was in January, and I did game day morning, and I schlepped out 2.5 hours to do this thing. Okay, and I remember looking down at my phone, not watching the game because we didn't have we didn't have the internet capacity to stream it on the phone, and I was watching it on the ESPN app with dots. Right? And all of a sudden, the Saints were on top of Vikings with mere seconds to go. And I thought to myself, this game is over. It's 99.9% chance of the Saints winning, and all of a sudden, the Vikings dot went from here to there. Dot on the field just went, and I'm like, wait a minute, what happened? It's like Stephon Diggs touchdown. It was the Minnesota Miracle.
Wow.
And I missed it because I was on the set with Rebecca Romaine talking about a beautiful rescue dog. Oh, yeah, man.
We're not going to feel bad for you.
I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm just trying to explain how crazy my life is sometimes, you know? I missed the Minnesota Miracle.
Wow.
And I thought, when those things happen from you think it's got to be a glitch or something. So I kept getting refresh. And I'm like, no.
That's crazy.
He said he's season 28.
Yeah, took Casino and then went to the NFC Championship game and lost to the Eagles, who then just won their first.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remain. Four, 5 seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
Hey, everybody.
Can't get enough of the Rich Eisen Show? You're in luck. You can find it everywhere. Watch us weekdays on the Roku Sports Channel from noon to 3 Eastern. Miss the show? We've got a podcast so you can listen anytime. But here's the best part. Our YouTube channel. Subscribe at youtube.com/Show and you'll never miss a moment. Now, on with the show. This is the Rich Eisen Show. The Rich Eisen Show.
Dreams are what it's all about. I love Jalen.
It's always the beginning until the end.
Dude is a winner.
Live from the Rich Eisen Show studio in Los Angeles.
The Philadelphia Eagles laid the wood to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Earlier on the show, Eagles quarterback who did be senior rated for the MQB, Albert Breer. Coming up, ESPN NBA reporter Dave Hanneman. And now, it's Rich Eisen.
All right, everybody. Hey, welcome to the third hour of this Tuesday Rich Eisen Show. What a fun chat with a young buck, 20 years old. But BCK, Philadelphia Eagles. It's kind of crazy. The Eagles, because we started the program talking about who could be the next year, can they repeat, right? Because what's going to do over the next 2 or 5 days for the next season, right? And in terms of who they played and who they lost to in the playoff history, and for years that Dan Lert's been starter and he's been the head coach full time, can use their playoff history as such an indicator as to who could beat them and who can they play. Because in 4 years that they've made the playoffs, the Eagles made the playoffs. Their last game of the playoffs was against only 2 teams. Were eliminated twice in a wild card run by bus. And played in the Super Bowl against the same team, Chiefs. So the end of their road has come with 1 win against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, 1 loss against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and 2 wild card losses in Tampa. So you really can't see a lot of time they lost this. There's no real history of cauterized wounds to bring up as a historical signpost. And so we talked about it nonetheless. Al Bridges joined us, and Tim McMahon was able to join from ESPN. Serving fans everywhere. That's their thing.
What happened to the worldwide leader?
I've been a fans of it. Because back in the day when I was there, the worldwide leader in sports, right? Right. Now it's like you decide who's the worldwide leader. We're just serving fans everywhere. A little more humility. Little humility. Little humility. You know what's not lame? Humility.
If you're literally the worldwide leader, just help me.
No, excuse me. Listen, you and I know we're the worldwide leader in Texas.
Why can't we say it?
We don't have to say it. We don't have to say it. Let other people say it. You know what we're doing? We're serving fans. We are. When they called us up, if I'm on the line and be called up by pharmacists for my meds and you say you're on the air, what do I do? We serve that in.
Yeah, you got stopped radio right? By British too. Like,
exactly. We're serving fans and we're literally in our world. So I understand their opinion. That's what I'm saying.
All in the world.
We don't have to say that. You get it?
I'm changing our banner to that.
Thank you. We're serving fans everywhere. You're not listening. You're not listening. I still feel like I'm talking to my children on there. Not listening. So we can say. We're not fans. All right.
Apparently we are in London. We were told.
We are. Okay. We're leading worldwide. Okay.
And
stop it.
We're serving fans worldwide.
Shannon is going to join us.
Got it.
Luka LeBron debut. I gotta be honest, weird to see. Really weird to see. Really weird to see.
By the way, the thing we're talking about the game show, the video, look at the
LA video. Well, it's look at LA video. They posted on his sites, included a lot of reaction, and your reaction to the Jackson Jr. as you were recording a No Contest Wrestling. I could be happy to No Contest Wrestling. A good video. Your reaction and Shit's reaction is perfect, and it's just shocking. It's still shocking to see it. Yeah. Right.
Well, yeah, because it actually came to fruition last night.
Well, it happened last night, and but notice LeBron got introduced second to last. Luka got the final, from Slovenia, Martin Sander. Luka Doncic, number 77, Luka Doncic. He came out. He's out. Yeah, his first big play was an assist to Jackson Hayes. Yeah.
That lob was his first play.
Yeah, and his first puck was stack 3.
Stack 3, right? Yeah. It was great.
I hate it.
Okay, yeah, 77, 73, equal 100.
Luka Doncic.
Here we go.
Yeah, Doncic, I think I saw.
There were a lot of 77 jerseys.
Well, the game away, it was free. It was free.
You knew they were going to do it. They, Lakers do this. This is their wheelhouse.
How they keep doing it? That's the question.
The whole NBA is rigged on the Lakers.
Oh my God.
I mean, we go back to then we go to Kareem, then we go to Shaq, then we go bring in Alsall, then they go LeBron.
That could be cool.
They just happened to make a draft trade.
It wasn't established, so don't put him in this argument.
Let's end John.
Well, they drafted, but again,
I'm AD gets first way out. Collecting ball. Look at that.
Just keep doing it.
I'm not a fan of it.
I hate them.
There was one moment where Luke threw a pass LeBron like 90 feet.
Yeah,
that's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Nothing about it is going to be fun.
That's what Luka had to say about being in LA and being a Los Angeles Laker officially.
Being special, though they were seeing me, everybody, it was amazing to see. I was a little nervous before. I remember when the last time I was nervous before the game, so, but once it happened, Corey, it was fun, and just being out there again felt amazing.
The camera and the microphone picked up LeBron telling you in the pregame huddle to be you, don't try to fit in, fit out. What did that message mean to you, and what does it look like for you to fit out with this team?
I mean, it's like I said before, it's special. For him to say something like that just feels amazing, give him confidence. And, after that speech, it was chills. So I was just happy to be part of it.
It's cool, man. They broadcast last night, the local broadcast was where I was picking up. They showed a photograph of Luka as a 16-year-old outside of Staples, just visiting, just being there, smiling with his family. As a 16-year-old, now he's inside that building as a 25-year-old teammate of LeBron James, Matt. Can't make it up. There they are. And in terms of don't fit in, fit out, that line that LeBron said to Luka, did you guys see Kevin Love's Instagram? Guys, it's a must follow. Punching the air right now is what Kevin Love said about the Luka, be your effing self, don't fit in, fit the F out. He posted a tweet from 2015 of LeBron saying the exact opposite. Stop trying to find a way to fit out and just fit and be a part of something special, just my thoughts. Which I think was a message he had back in the day because Kevin Love's just like, hashtag 10 years later, still hater, hashtag hurt my feelings. Whatever to the day.
Yeah, whatever Kevin Love has doing his stuff.
I think it's him, man.
Is great.
Kevin Love's Instagram is
very funny.
Listen, man, I can't wait to see how this whole thing plays out. And it's all love right now. And by the way, the Lakers, are they averaging 70 points a half in the last 2 weeks? By the way, I mean, they just bucket it up.
It helps when his debut against maybe the worst team.
No, I understand that, but they keep on coming up with 40-point first quarters and 70-point first halves. And I don't know what's happening with Mark Williams. We'll ask that of McMenamin when he joins us shortly. Because the Hornets are pushing back on his failed physical. Like, that's weird. I don't know what's happening right now.
Yeah, that's weird.
Cooper thinks Christian Wood is going to be the answer. He's going to get healthy, and he's going to be the center. And he'll find his inner, Houston Rocket of 2023-24 or 2022-23. And I don't know what they're going to do down low, but just watching these guys perform, and Austin Reeves, they're just going to light it up, and they'll light you up and score 130 and win, I guess.
Yeah, but the problem is they can't stop you from scoring a buck 40.
Maybe. We'll find out. But you know what? At least it's not Dallas. Did you see what happened on Monday night in Dallas? Losing in overtime? No, I mean, they lost in overtime. And apparently a couple of fans getting ejected because they were wearing shirts and holding up signs.
Fire
Nico signs. And they were angry. And Cuban was verbally accosted by one, and he F-bombed them back.
He had nothing to do with it.
I understand that. But fans are like livid angry. A week and a half later,
still have that right. It's
really angry to the point where protests are now inside the arena. They're booing the owner or the governor, if you will, the son-in-law of Miriam Adelson, who's showing up in his seat saying, "We're not moving to Vegas, and we understand your anger. Just let it all play out." I mean, the fact that Anthony Davis is hurt now for a month, and Luka's now having a love fest in Los Angeles, donating, by the way, great job by him, $500,000 towards the cause of helping people. Still, we're going to be dealing with the effects of this wildfire aftermath for years. And he sent out, like he said, he donated $500,000, and he signed it, "Your new neighbor, Luka." His message to fans. I mean, he's hitting every right note. I just wonder if he's going to be, 20 years too soon. Because normally, when you arrive in Los Angeles and you start, maybe rethinking the way you've lived your life. You start working out. You start, getting rocked up. It's usually you're 45.
Yeah, you know,
you're 55 in LA. Or you're transitioning to a new life.
That's right.
You know,
you're starting to think about your mortality.
Yeah, you find your new love. You know what I mean?
Diet, got his weight.
You start dating somebody younger.
His hair gets a little
Like
thicker.
Luca.
I don't recommend that for Luca.
Well, Luca has a.
I'm saying, just let's take this before picture. Let's see what he looks like, a year from now.
Oh, well, this Empic will kick in.
It's this guy. Oh.
In the South Bay, you get that like green juice diet.
That's what I'm saying. Right. Or if you live in the South Bay, you can go get your nuts from Mike. Yeah, straight from his hand.
That's right out of the hand.
Yeah.
Like, he's gonna get a boat and put
I
him
would let him live in the South Bay of our Lakers. Too much temptation out there. Put him in the suburbs somewhere.
I mean the suburbs.
The suburbs.
Honestly, he should live in their South Bay. Their facilities are down the street.
There's so many bars and beaches. And,
Let's find out let's see what he's into here.
Come out to the coast. Level he lives. Come on.
Maybe that was part and parcel of LeBron saying, I'll be introduced second to last. You just got to use my trainer.
Right.
I'll make that deal. But somebody, I can't wait to ask McMenamin. Somebody had to tell LeBron, hey, we're going to introduce you second last. Is it a regular thing and they always introduce Anthony Davis last? Or they're going to go back and forth? I don't know.
I think
LeBron,
he doesn't. Last night I think about it.
Dude, LeBron's got to, at some point, just go, I can't believe that's Luka that I'm playing with. Although he's been there and done that, so he's probably a little bit less, shocked about it than Luka. That had to be an out-of-body experience for him last night.
The whole week has probably been a whirlwind.
Right.
Like you said, you never thought he'd get traded.
I can't wait for Luka to get load managed before the All-Star game. It's going to be awesome.
They're playing Utah again tomorrow.
Is he going to play? We going to get him?
We played 24 minutes last night.
It was his first game since Christmas, right?
Okay.
So
he hasn't played in a long time.
Yeah, he hasn't played in over a month.
I know. It's good for him.
You don't want to put too much on him.
Luka Doncic is going to be here as a Los Angeles Laker forever.
Right down the street.
Right down the street.
Off until he goes to Miami.
He's not going to Miami. Lakers have him he's a Laker for life. Unlike being a Mav for life.
He's here for the next 10, Chris. You know how that goes.
About this guy. All right, 844-204 is number to dial. Dave McMenamin and an Overreaction Monday on a Tuesday is the rest of our show. Dave McMenamin, serving fans everywhere.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Back here on the Rich Eisen Show Radio Network, Dave McMenamin of ESPN joining us here right now. All right, you've been around tons of big nights in the home of the Los Angeles Lakers. Where does last night's rank, Dave?
At the moment, the Lakers organization kind of recognized that last week their introductory news conference with Luka was not something that had the pomp and circumstance of, say, when the Miami Heat traded for Shaquille O'Neal, he gets to the arena in an 18-wheeler with a super soaker. There wasn't like the celebratory feel because Luka was still processing what happened. He was taken aback, obviously, by the trade. He thought he was going to retire, a member of the Dallas Mavericks. And so about a week passed between their introductory news conference and Monday night at Crypto.com, and it was the right time to kind of pull out the bells and whistles. There was 18,997 number 77 Laker gold Luka Doncic t-shirts on seats. They're playing Serbian music to make him feel right at home on the court during the pregame warm-ups. And LeBron James did a very cool gesture, reached out to Luka in the day, Monday morning, and said, hey, whoever you want to do pregame introductions, I'm with. Whoever you want to do it, that's cool by me. And Luka said, yeah, I kind of like to have the moment, if that's okay, LeBron James, sir. And LeBron said, by all means. And so LeBron was the second to last member of the Lakers starting lineup, announced Luka was last. There was a huge roar. And then the game was just, it was a blowout. All good vibes. Lakers up by 34 points at one point, went on to win for the 13th time in their last 15 games. They are rolling. And they're only going to see more and more of Luka Doncic as the season goes on.
I was going to ask you, Dave, that it was definitely noticed by me, and obviously you and others, that Luka got announced last, and that LeBron was second to last. You're saying that was a LeBron-induced floor is yours type moment, Dave?
Absolutely. Yeah. Luka told us that during the day, LeBron reached out to him and said, we're looking forward to the night. It's going to be exciting. We have the starting lineups. How do we want to manage this thing? Whatever you want, we'll do, is what LeBron told Luka. And yeah, Luka told LeBron it'd be cool to have the moment. And he thanked him for acquiescing there, I guess you should say, but made it clear, telling us reporters, okay, that's my one night. It's going back to LeBron from here on out.
That was my follow-up question right there. But you are right. The Lakers just are currently mastering in 40-point first quarters and 70-point halves, it appears to be, Dave. And so last night was an interesting moment for coming together and figuring out how to keep things rolling. Obviously, having a Utah Jazz team that isn't as good as most of the rest of the NBA would be helpful. But how does this work moving forward?
Yeah, Utah's terrible, but the fact that it was Luka's first taste of basketball action since Christmas Day with brand new teammates, dealing with the transition of a new city, a new life, etc., it was a smashing success for the first year that we got. And what we're going to have to figure out, as Luka is off of his minutes restriction, he only plays 24 minutes on Monday because of that left calf strain, and Dorian Finney-Smith is still on minutes restriction. They traded for him more than a month ago for the Brooklyn Nets. Once they have all their players ready to go full bore, JJ Redick's going to have to figure out lineup balances, because there's a ton of offense in that starting unit right now with Rui, LeBron, Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic, and Jackson Hayes. But you may want to get some more of a defensive presence in there. And they're going to be looking at either Rui Hachimura or Austin Reeves at some point to play more with the second unit. That might not necessarily be them